Hey y'alls, I'm back. Yeah, this time to help further orient you for our first discussion, Capstone Beginnings. So, you want to start off your initial post with, introducing yourself to the others in the class. Okay, give a little description of your background, what's your concentration, what actually drew you to that concentration. All right. Um, yeah, I'd also like to know how long you've been at SNHU. Your goals, your post school goals. What do you want to do in with a degree in anthropology? Those are great things to share. So I encourage you to do so. So after you've introduced yourself, you're going to get into the bulk of your post. And to do this, you want to start with reviewing the key program outcomes that are outlined in the prompt itself, right? Evaluate diverse cultural behaviors, apply anthropological theories, concepts, yada yada, demonstrate professional ethics and responsibilities, develop feasible anthropological research questions, analyze anthropological research and data, assess similarities and differences among cultures for developing cultural relevant and blah 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 blah. You can read them just as well as I can. um, so yeah, be reflexive here. You want to think back over your experience in this program and think about where and how you've addressed these things. All right, and you're going to want to pick two in particular. All right, so you don't have to pick all of them. All right, not to use all of them, but you're going to pick two. And I suggest, it might help to think about particular areas that you showed particular strengths for. Or you can go the opposite way and highlight weaknesses and areas that you really want to improve upon. Those are great strategies as well. Um, but yeah, it may be more beneficial to think about areas that you've been particularly productive. So I was looking over these program outcomes, and throughout my academic journey, I've had similar. Right. So I wanted to share a couple of examples to help kind of give you some insights of the sorts of things I'm looking for, and of course, some of my examples are not, well, none of them are from the undergraduate level, right? I'm drawing on professional and academic experience broadly. But my example should at least help kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking for, right? So yeah, the first program outcome: evaluate diverse cultural behaviors and social interactions for their role in the complex interrelationships between individuals, cultures, social institutions, organizations, and the environment. Oof, God, what a mouthful. Um, yeah, I've done this. I've done this a whole lot. This is pretty much what I do. A great example is when I was, a couple. As an undergraduate, I had to do a capstone, and mine was focused on cannabis culture in New England. And this was long before lots of the legalization initiatives that have been spreading around the country. This was back in the was it mid '90s. So yeah, it was taboo. It was a no-no. You could go to jail. But I was really interested in deviance as an undergraduate, right? And I got involved with trying to understand how and why people smoked marijuana, cannabis. Where was it coming from? Where did it go? All the relationships between the individuals involved. I mean, I did interviews with over 300 people and developed a sociogram that outlined these clusters of groups and their types of social interactions. All right, really really fun stuff. But that would and that really kind of highlights, these complex interrelationships. It's looking at economic systems as well as political systems, as well as unique cultures like college culture, right? Another one that would equally apply to that. When I was working on my master's, I got to take a really cool seminar course from a group of professors that have been contracted by the federal government to do a social impact assessment of a very significant environmental or complex environmental issue in a place known as the Klamath Basin in southern Oregon. It was in the national news. This is back in 2000. Anyway, the community, there was a drought, water shortage, which impacted local farmers, which were predominantly white and had settled the area after World War I and World War II consecutively. And there are large Native American communities in the areas as well. And they rely on a couple of different species of fish. They also need water for their own rights. Yada yada. So anyway, I got really involved in researching and understanding these complex interrelationships between individuals, different cultures, institutions, agencies, organizations, and the environment. Right? I don't want to go off into too much detail, right? But yeah, there's a couple of examples that really kind of speak to that first program outcome. Another one, looking at the second outcome here, apply anthropological theories, concepts, and methodology to complex contemporary and historical cultural issues for a broader understanding of human societies. Wow. I can look at all the stuff I do, and it really kind of addresses this as well. But I'm going to use my wildlife use research as a particularly good example here. On the surface, it's all about wildlife use, but it's not, right? It's actually all about globalization and providing a counter narrative to Western-centric notions of globalization, things like world systems theory by Wallerstein, who suggested that you have these core areas and then these peripheries that serve the core, and one of the key things that it ignores, all right, world systems theory and other Western-centric notions of globalization, is that it ignores the agency of others, right? The ability for folks to pick and choose to serve their own wants and needs. And so, yeah, I used wildlife use as a lens onto complex processes of globalization, between local communities, and we're talking hundreds of them, national agencies like Eaux et Forêts, which is the Department of Water and Forests for the nation of Mali, right? And there are actually other national agencies involved as well. International agencies, international conservation organizations were intimately involved. So I was using cutting edge anthropological theory to help frame this unique perspective that allowed insight into some, how would you say it? Some pretty thick stuff, right? These are just some ideas to kind of like, oh yeah, I remember writing a paper about, subject X that really kind of speaks to one of these program outcomes, right? That's what you want to do here. Now, I don't expect you to rehash the entire thing, but describe what you did and the sorts of insights that you gained. That is going to be really helpful for this discussion. Now, for your response posts, which you got to do two. Um, you want to, this is kind of an intro discussion, so you want to encourage engagement and discussion of these things. So think back about your own experiences with whatever program outcomes your fellow classmates highlighted. What was your experience with them? Do they align with what the initial poster shares? Right? Do you have any personal insights? Like maybe you concentrated in environmental stuff, but you have a background in geospatial technologies. Okay, so don't think that you just have to speak to environmental stuff or just geospatial stuff. Now, think broadly, and I can't stress enough, personal experience is really valuable. So share that too, not just academic experience. Uh, yeah, and what other things can you do? I had some notes. Let's see here. Yeah, no, touched on that. Touched on that. Yeah, those are kind of the basics. And of course, initial post is due by the end of Thursday this week, whereas your response posts, time 2, are due by the end of Sunday this week. Yeah, hope that helps. And of course, if you have any questions or concerns, there's the general questions forum. You got my email, you got my cell number. You can call, you can text. I'm here for you. So, check y'all later. Take care. Bye.